Ben Shapiro appears to have had enough of Kanye West and his anti-Semitism. They are having a very public, hilarious spat. On Sunday, the Daily Wire founder responded to Kanye's criticism that Ben Shapiro's outlet accepted money from Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, that's troubling in itself, but we'll get back to that. Earlier in the day, in response to former President Donald Trump having dinner with West as well as white supremacist Nick Fuentes, maybe Milo Yiannopoulos might have been there. There are conflicting reports on that one. Shapiro had tweeted this, and it's a good point. I'll give it to him. A good way to not accidentally dine with a vile racist and anti-Semite you don't know is not to dine with a vile racist and anti-Semite you do know. Referring, of course, to Kanye. How Donald Trump, again, I think it's an excuse. Of course, I believe Donald Trump knew exactly who Nick Fuentes was. And by the way, also knew what Kanye was saying and had absolutely zero problem with it. Come on. You know he knows. But anyway, West responded to that by posting side-by-side screenshots of an article from Media Matters about DeSantis giving the Daily Wire more than $100,000, as well as Shapiro's tweet. Before I go into that, let me just note, obviously, at this point, I'm going to take the side of Ben Shapiro, which, again, is super weird, but okay. Now, again, what is Trump doing hosting Kanye after all the anti-Semitism? Well, because Trump also anti-Semitic. He plays into all the old tropes about Jewish people being good negotiators, or brutal negotiators, and of course accuse them of having dual loyalty to Israel and the United States, which is ridiculous. I'm going to give you a couple of quotes here from Trump. This is during a 2015 speech to the Republican Jewish Coalition. Well, look, I'm a negotiator like you folks. We're negotiators. This room negotiates perhaps more than any room I've spoken to, maybe more. Really? During a 2019 speech to the Israeli-American Council, Trump told those assembled, "A lot of you are in the real estate business because I know you very well. You're brutal killers. Not nice people at all. But you have to vote for me. You have no choice." Really? Have no choice. Right. In 2020, the Washington Post Greg Miller reported that Trump has said after speaking to Jewish leaders on the phone that, quote, they're only in it for themselves and stick together in ethnic allegiance. Not to mention, of course, you had the weird anti-Semitic ad involving, I think, Hillary Clinton, George Soros, and others. I mean, you know, the whole puppeteer thing. And by the way, Trump also suggested that that ethnic allegiance should extend to him because he has Jewish family members. In 2019, he said, I saw a poll in that last election. I got 25% of the Jewish vote. And I said, here I have a son-in-law and a daughter who are Jewish. I have beautiful grandchildren that are Jewish. I have all these incredible achievements. I'm amazed that it seems to be almost automatically a Democratic vote. Again, that's a super weird, yikesy thing to say. And by the way, there are demographics. Jewish Americans, for example, in New York, yeah, of course they vote for Democrats. Because they're liberal. It doesn't have anything to do with them being Jewish. You have conservative Jewish voters that, again, will vote for Republicans. Donald Trump thinks they're all the same. Well, that's textbook anti-Semitism. That said, did Ben Shapiro speak out against Donald Trump when he was president? Not really. Now, before then, of course, he did. Back in 2015, Ben Shapiro was against Donald Trump. And, you know, as soon as he became the nominee, however, the ass-kissing began. And that's because Donald Trump is, or was, the Republican Party's daddy. And he was for a long time, and Ben Shapiro happily defended Donald Trump in almost every way. That said, now that Trump has had his losses, the midterm, and is being rejected by the establishment very openly, Ben Shapiro's finally able to be honest, because I don't think Ben Shapiro liked Donald Trump at all. The whole time. but kind of held his mouth, held his tongue, as to not say anything to offend his rabidly anti-Semitic racist base. That said, I would avoid giving Ben too much credit. After all, Ben Shapiro employs one of the biggest anti-Semites of all, Candace Owens, who's very much still buddy-buddy with Kanye. So now, getting back to West and the article. Now, according to Media Matters, as he gears up for a potential 2024 showdown with former President Donald Trump, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had enlisted a leading right-wing outlet for advertising, Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire. The Republican governor paid over $100,000 since last year in fundraising expenses to the site, which has aired commentary supporting DeSantis over Trump. DeSantis and his associated PAC Friends of Ron DeSantis have paid $110,429.01 for fundraising expenses and list rental to the site since July 2021, according to the search of campaign data with the Florida Department of State. So look, on its own, it's deeply troubling. DeSantis is buying positive commentary from the Daily Wire, from a news agency, or supposedly a news outlet, right? That's weird. You shouldn't really do that. Again, sure, if you're buying ad space, that's one thing. But if you go and you look at all the positive commentary about Ron DeSantis, especially over Donald Trump, I don't know, it seems a little sketchy. And I'm going to guess he's not the only one who's done this on the right. I'm sure they all do. Daily Wire, of course, reaches a huge conservative audience. The establishment, of course, wants Donald Trump out because Donald Trump's a loser. That. But Kanye, however, Kanye's going to imply that it's because of something else. Shapiro, he writes, starvingly accepts $100,000 from one of my opponents, then tries to trash me. Posted West and now deleted. I'm going to say if anybody's starving right now, it would be Kanye. Yes, he's got a lot of money, but he's pretty much lost all of his business deals as a result of saying incredibly messed up anti-Semitic things. It's ironic because, again, he'll post virulently hateful and anti-Semitic things, and then when people rightly push back, even though it's on his side, he then doubles down and blames the Jews even more. No, that wasn't their fault, it was your fault. Congratulations, dude, you played yourself. Well done. You fucked around and now you're finding out. And this is how that works. The civilized world looks at this stuff and is rightly repulsed by it. You might want to have some self-reflection. So now Shapiro retweeted West's post and added this. Quote, sadly, you've trashed yourself. You didn't need my help. It wasn't me. It wasn't the Jews. It was just you. He's right about it. He's right. Now, Daily Wire co-founder Jeremy Boring also called out West in his stupid argument. But look, overall, what you're dealing with Kanye is somebody who is broken. And I don't mean his mental issues, which he does have some. No, I'm saying that there is a hatred inside of Kanye, which is not normal. I mean, that amount of hatred is never normal. Look at the friends, the so-called friends that he has made. White supremacist and Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes, who thinks having sex with women is gay. What? Then you have Milo Yiannopoulos, who had endorsed pedophilia. Sex between grown men and 13-year-old boys. Oh, the best people, the greatest people. What a crowd. What friends. And ironically, again, this is what going so-called anti-woke, right? Because that's what they say it would. Which just means not being a completely hateful tool. That's what that's what being woke is, right? Not being a complete a tool, right? Well, that's what going anti-woke and being a tool will do for you. Really, it's just it's a hell of a fall for Kanye West. And I'm quite surprised to see it, but there it is.